Why create a product? What kind of legacy can we really leave? And why is Three Fingers Surf Zinc changing the sun protection game? If you'd like to find out, then you're in the right place. Welcome to Between Views. I'm your host, Alec Koski. This podcast aims to cast light on and connect you with inspirational people, identify them as potential mentors in your journey, and share their stories and wisdom with the world. My hope is that this podcast contains some information that is vital in your journey. In this episode, we converse with Prest about Three Fingers Surf Zinc and why people might want to build a product. Speaking of products, we are doing another giveaway. We have up for grabs 3 tins of Three Fingers Surf Zinc. All you'll need to do is follow both Between Views and Three Fingers. Also leave a 5-star review on Spotify. Just before we get started, if you enjoyed listening to this episode, then I'd invite you to leave a star rating on whichever service you found us, and also the opportunity to join the Between Views Patreon community. This is the best way you can support the podcast. We hope you enjoy. Okay, welcome to another episode of Between Views. Today we are fortunate enough to have Grant Prest with us on the show. Grant is a dedicated businessman, CEO and creator of Three Fingers Natural Zinc. He has always been an amazing person to talk to out in the surf and always seems to remember exactly what I was up to the last time we talked. He has competed in volleyball at an incredibly high level and is an amazing body surfer. He is also an epic dog dad to Coco, the world's most well-behaved beach dog. And I'm really looking forward to learning from you today. Grant, welcome to Between Views.
Thank you, Alec. Happy to be here.
Brilliant. Let's get right into it. Let's start with a question about your business. What is Three Fingers Surf Zinc?
So, Three Fingers Surf Zinc is one, it's an all-natural zinc that you guys are wearing in the Carry Hole and Flat Rock. Quite happy to give the boys free samples. It was created out of a need and my lifestyle with my 2 children. I'm extremely healthy and I'm very conscious of what goes on my body from outside of the hamburger that I ate from McDonald's today.
Yeah, true. The exception.
Yeah, right. We're always, probably 30 years ago, my wife at the time, we all went on a journey where we started to change our lifestyle. She would bring me interesting health facts and I would read the literature she would give me, and from that literature we would change parts of our lifestyle. So to give you an example, we went on a journey, like I said, 30 years ago, and the first part was we changed our water. So we have in our house currently a 3-phase water filter. So that gets rid of all the fluoride out of the water. And that was the start of the health journey. So for 35 years, we've been drinking filtered water, reverse osmosis water. And then gradually, my wife at that stage would bring me things about cosmetics, whether that was shampoo or conditioner, that you would wear on your body, and show me all the detrimental ingredients that were in the products that we were using, and then bring me another alternative. And it quite made sense because your body, your skin is the biggest organ that you've got and it absorbs absolutely everything. And I guess that's where Three Fingers Zinc fell into it 30 years later. There was a couple of products on the market, Surf Mud being one of them, which is still an amazing product and it's very clean. And I started playing around in the kitchen with a set of scales, shitty old blender, and just off the internet finding ingredients and then researching an ingredient and putting that all together and then testing it on myself and a couple other guys from the Carry Hole and a surfer mate that you don't know. And yeah, that's sort of where it come from. And then we eventually parked it for 5 years while I went through a divorce. and just started to find myself again, and a business partner or colleague from a previous business come to me and said, hey, let's kick this off. I want to see you be successful with this product. And we found a cosmetic chemist that could stabilise the formula. Formula was good, but it was unstable in winter, and it would liquefy in summer. So there's a balance, as you would know, being a surfer, you just leave all your gear in the boot. Yeah. And we eventually found a cosmetic chemist through a third party again, and he runs his own skincare range, and he understood what we wanted. And over a couple of months, back and forth with products, he eventually brought me a product that is Three Fingers Zinc today.
Yeah, right. So it was actually a pursuit of a healthier sun protection product that kind of led down that path, and also, I guess, getting passionate about health, starting to understand which things you were putting into your body, because, you know, you are what you consume, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and our skin, it consumes.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
a lot of people don't know that, right? I remember someone once said to me, never put anything on your skin you wouldn't put in your mouth.
Pretty much.
Can you put 3 fingers in your mouth?
You can. I'm pretty sure there's a couple of guys that have put it on their lips and ingested it that way.
Yeah.
But it's fair. It's as safe as you could get. If you ingested it, I doubt very much you would get ill from it. The zinc probably would be the only part that you're not meant to ingest. But at this stage, it's extremely healthy.
Yeah. One of my favourite things about it is just it smells so nice.
Yeah, the smell was an interesting one because I couldn't get the smell right. And a mate who's an avid surfer who was testing it for me and worked and owned a surf shop at that stage, he said the difference between surf mud and Three Fingers needs to be very clear, and he said it needs to smell like the beach. So he was a big advocate of trying to get a really nice smell to it.
Yeah.
And it's an all-natural smell as well. You can go and buy synthetic agents to make things smell and be a drop of a pinhead.
Yeah.
And that would cover a large quantity of product. However, I sourced natural oils from the States that cost an absolute fortune, and it was the only company that I could find that had that would send samples to me, and we found that nice smell, and it sits really well with everybody.
What is the smell exactly?
The ingredients, from what I understand, could be the secret KFC recipe.
Ooh.
Maybe I shouldn't tell you.
Maybe don't say it.
It's no, I'll tell you. It's a blend of 3 tropical. It's actually called a tropical formula, and it's a blend of 3 different natural oils, and it's so expensive, and it lasts for a run. So I just did a run of 800 for this summer. It would probably take 4 years to use the 2 litres that I've got.
Wow. So it goes a long way.
It goes extremely long way, but it is the smell.
Yeah. Yeah, I really love it. And the other thing as well is the reason that I stopped using zinc. I was like, I can't use this stuff. Like my pores on my face are just they're quite open.
Yeah.
Most of the time. And I just found that whenever I put any zinc on, I'd come home and I'd just have like pimples, big red spots. I was like, nah, I can't get this out of my skin, whatever it is. I'm off it. I'm just going to go back to just like a standard sunscreen, which is also no real solution. But I found with your one, and this is what fascinated me, I was like, whoa, I wore this all day. I didn't even take it off. And then when I did, nothing went wrong with my skin.
And I think that comes down to, one, the ingredients are super clean. I think there's only 10 ingredients in the whole product. But it also comes down to what you want to use it for as well. However, if you choose the wrong type of zinc for your product, if you just choose, like a lot of the times, if you flip over a sunscreen bottle, you just cannot read the ingredients, and there'd be 50 different ingredients on just a typical sunscreen. And that's where your body goes, hang on, I can't handle this, or you'll get a rash, or you'll get burnt. Like you said, it gets stuck in your pores.
Yeah, you can get actually burnt from sunscreen.
Yeah, of course. Well, there was a lawsuit with Banana Boat about, it'd have to be 10 years ago. They were claiming they had a 50 SPF and it went to testing and it come back and it was 15 SPF and it ended up in some type of litigation in Australia. Sunbum had litigation against them in the States as well. They were claiming it was 50 plus SPF. Come back and it was like 20%, 20 SPF.
What is an SPF test?
So an SPF test it's really quite complicated. You would send your product to the TGA board, which is the Therapeutic Goods Association for Australia, and I think can't even remember what it's called in the States. And they actually physically get 20 people and they would apply the sunscreen and then put them through tests to determine whether you have a SPF of 50 or 25 or 30. So my zinc sits in a different area to Therapeutic Goods Association products such as a sunscreen, because you do not need an SPF for zinc.
Because it's a natural barrier, right? It's not meant to be absorbed into your skin.
It just falls into a funny space that you don't have to actually get an SPF for zinc. And I don't know, from my point of view and being an owner and a manufacturer, it's 30% zinc, which completely covers you. We've had pro surfers such as Jackson Baker, Sarah Baum, wore it in Tahiti for the Olympics. She's worn it all around the world. Jackson Baker, we sponsored for 2 years while he was on the WSL, wore it all the time, but twice in G-Land, and he's so fair. He's got red hair and he absolutely loved it. So the SPF part of it is quite frustrating because I want to add a new line to Three Fingers Zinc. I want to add a sunscreen to it, but in Australia you actually have to go through the Therapeutic Goods Association. So to get a run done, which is, I think I can get 10,000 sunscreens done with my ingredients that I would like in it, costs, I think it was $90,000 just to do that one run.
Wow.
So it's a risk.
Yeah.
And you need backing. And unfortunately, I'm not in that position to do it.
Gotcha.
Because we're currently in 100 stores from Queensland all the way down to Victoria.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple over in WA. And the guys that distribute for me in New South Wales are like, hey, you've got to get a sunscreen. Everybody loves the zinc. Where's the sunscreen? And it just comes down to economics.
Yeah. So that's the next part then for you.
I think so. So I'm not sure if you know, I work full time for another company, do the zinc, and the zinc doesn't get busy until September. And then I also have a NDIS business that we're growing quite rapidly as well. So it's a tough situation. I love the zinc. I've even thought about putting it for sale because there's clearly other brands out there that don't have a zinc, and they would just buy the formula, buy the name, and then get out of it because it's too good a product in my eyes to let it die off.
Yeah, right. Well, I agree with that totally. And, I guess it's one of those things you have to choose whether you're going to pursue that or, the things that you're already invested in here with work and your new business. That's one of the things. We only have so much butter, but we can think of a million pieces of toast we'd like to put it on.
Oh, and you know what? If there's budding business people out there, you've just got to start. And I was 44 when I started the process of getting the zinc going again. And 44, you're well past middle age. Middle age is supposedly meant to be 50, but I did some reading and it's about 35, 38. And sometimes if you've got an idea, like look at you and the coffee beans a couple of years ago, sometimes you just got to start. And if it fails, you'll find something else to do.
Yeah.
But I'm not here on this planet to not have a go at something. Someone said to me when I was working for a multinational for 25 years, they're like, oh, this is the legacy I want to leave, the owner of the company. This is the legacy I want to leave. And it didn't dawn on me till the other day that my legacy is my 2 children. Doesn't matter how much money you leave or the big house or whatever you leave to the world. Within 2 generations, you're forgotten. So your kids will remember you, their children, your grandchildren will remember you, but after that, you're pretty much forgotten, unfortunately. And that's where the legacy that you leave, it might be Three Fingers Zinc, that's fine, but does anybody know the founder of Coca Cola's name?
No. Yeah, true.
Biggest brand in the world.
Yeah.
Created in 1870 or something. Sold five bottles at that stage in 1 year.
Yeah.
And that's all he sold.
It's quite interesting to think that someone could sell 5 bottles in 1 year and be like, this is worth keeping up.
Yeah, exactly. You're thinking about it. Hang on, this is
going to work.
This could be big. I could be one of the biggest brands in the world. But I only sold 5 this year.
Yeah. Have you sold 5 units this year?
I've sold 5 units. I was very busy. We're in October, so it was very busy in September. And when I say busy in September, I would have sent out probably filled 12 store orders. Yeah. Which is great.
How good's Three Fingers going to be in 150 years?
Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome.
I wonder if you'll recognise the tin when you're blindfolded like they do with a Coca Cola bottle.
Yeah, true.
Put a blindfold on. Oh, that's Three Fingers. That's not surf mud.
That's right. I have a next question for you.
Sure.
Through the process of creating this product, what have you learned about business? And what do you wish you knew at the beginning?
So I've always worked in business. Like I mentioned, I worked for a multinational for 25 years, ran the state of New South Wales, ran all of the company in New Zealand, which was a $100 million budget. And what I took out of doing 25 years for those guys and into this business is it's all about relationships. So when I first had the perfect batch, the presentation box that Three Fingers sits in a store, I was so reluctant to go to the people that I knew that owned surf stores, and I have a really good relationship with these people because I'd try to buy all my kids' products and my products locally for the surf. So you would just have conversations with these people or their shop owners because that's just the type of person I am. And if you could pass on any wisdom about retail, definitely go ahead. But I was so reluctant to bring in my own product to the store and go, hey, can you try a sample of this? Get back to me, and then hopefully you'll take it on board as a product.
Why were you so reluctant?
Just human nature. It's like going up to the girl in the bar and asking for her phone number. It's just that rejection. As I'm sure you're aware, human nature doesn't like rejection at all. And someone saying no to you is always a kick in the balls, I reckon.
Yeah, when you gave it a shot.
Yeah, you gave it a shot, and I eventually got the balls, or the kahunas, as you would like to say, or is that Italian?
Kahuna is the Hawaiian word, yeah.
Sure. Oh, Kajulis?
You actually know what kahuna means in Hawaiian.
Isn't it balls?
Mm-mm.
What is it?
Kahuna is the second in charge of the advisors. They're like the wise men underneath the Hawaiian kings.
What's balls in Spanish? Cajules?
Cajones.
Cojones.
Yeah.
So just getting the guts
to
go up and say, hey, this is what I've got. And I still remember walking into Rip Curl, who was owned by Jared Morrell, and I gave him a sample, and he didn't even say, I'll try the sample. He goes, I'll take it. So then you just get on a high and you just start knocking on doors. So to answer your question, it really comes down to those relationships. So from there, I had a relationship with a couple of guys in the Slime surf store, then Sandbar, and once one of the guys got it and they started saying, oh, it's really good, then the other local surf stores took it on board.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what Three Fingers is. It's a product that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
It makes me think of, I had the similar discussion with Owen, who makes all of our hand planes.
Yep.
And similar thing, like he didn't really need to do too much marketing because his product itself was the marketing.
Yep,
like it landing in surf communities, surf stores like Three Fingers. People pick it up, they use it, and they go, where can I get some more of that? That's
exactly. So I had a bit of a plan in my head. So made sure I sponsored all the really good local boys and girls that surfed really well, because they don't want money. They just want a sticker on their board, and they just want free product. They want to be on your Instagram page. So that was my whole, I guess in my head, my marketing plan was sponsor these young grommies, girls and guys, and then get it out there. Make sure, because a lot of the grommies would work in surf stores. So the ones that I was targeting was all the kids that worked in the surf stores. So they'd already have a first-hand experience. So when it was on the counter, the kids could go, hey, I use this. Hands down, it's the best zinc on the market. And that worked really well for us. So word of mouth, a bit like Owen. Every time we're sitting or standing near the cars, having a cup of coffee, and the handboards are there, how many people would walk past and go, oh, where do you get these handboards from?
Right here.
Yeah. And we would direct them to Owen's Instagram page. Yeah. So that was, it come down to those relationships, and I knew all the kids as well from just saying hello to them at the Carry Hole or Newcastle Beach. So it was really easy for me to go, hey, do you want to try this, and do you want to be on the team? And they're like, oh, yeah. Especially the boys and the girls between those ages of 12 and 13, they just want stickers and free product and just to feel part of a team.
Yeah, I mean, for them as well, like someone reaching out to them and going, like, would you mind if I sponsored you?
Yeah.
That, like, if I was that age, I'd be like, hell yeah, can't wait to tell everyone I'm
especially when you're a local company and they're local kids. I've got a couple of team riders in Sydney that are great for the brand as well, and there's a couple up in Foster and Queensland.
Yeah. What do you do for your team riders? Like when you take someone on as a rider, like what does that mean for them?
Well, I guess they get free sunscreen, which is essential for their lifestyle, of course. And then just media exposure, I guess. So they'll tag me in all the time and then just regurgitate their Instagram posts.
Yeah, right. So that becomes your content in a way, like
100%.
They're out there, they're going to make content anyway because they're getting their self out there. And then you'll put them up, and through that, people who like zinc, probably most likely surfers, beachgoers, you're going to find them and build their following up too.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly how, like, unless you've got a budget of, I don't know, 30 grand to pump it around every summer, which I obviously don't. We do turn on Instagram and Facebook ads during probably November for a period of time till about January.
Is that worthwhile?
Not really, because what you're doing is you have a product that's a $25 product. So that's what it retails for. Postage has gone from $4.50 to $10. So I only still charge $5 for the postage. So you're already losing $10. Where it gets a bit funny in business and e-com is unless your product has enough margin built into it. So I've got a $25 product that costs me X amount to make. There's a margin of X. It's not big enough to hit Google, Facebook, Instagram because there's not enough margin built into it. So when you talk about e-com game, you have to have enough margin because it might take me $7 to acquire one customer on Facebook, Google or Instagram.
Yeah.
So you've got to build that $7 into your postage, which you're losing $5 already on postage. So you're losing $13 because it takes you $7 to acquire a customer.
Yeah, it makes me think of only yesterday I was having a chat with a guy who runs a business too, and his big thing was keeping your overheads low with business. And I feel like once you get into e-commerce, it sounds like keeping overheads low once you get ads and all that kind of stuff going.
Of course. And then, so the other person that owns half of Three Fingers Zinc, he sells neon signs, but his neon signs can go from anywhere from the average person $500 to $30,000. So he might acquire someone for $100 on that $30,000 product.
Yeah.
So it's well worth it.
Way worth it, yeah.
Well worth it. And the only way you can make e-commerce work for a brand like mine is have multiple products. So example, the sunscreen. So if someone goes and buys your zinc, you might give them 10% off the sunscreen if you had another product line. So therefore the parcel, the bundle gets bigger, so your overhead costs get lower. So if you're planning to do anything on e-com, make sure your product's got enough margin built in where you can acquire someone for $15 and you're still making $50 profit.
Yeah, got you. So your product should be something that's probably a little bit more expensive if you're going to have one online.
Yeah.
Unless you're in like some massive bulk industry where small dollars do count.
Yeah, exactly. Because how many times would you go online, especially my daughter, she'll buy one thing from one shop, but then go, hey, Dad, there's 4 other things that I want to put into this bundle. Yeah. And that's how they make their money.
Yeah, from the multiple purchases.
Yeah, multiple purchases.
Yeah, gotcha. And then the postage makes sense for them too because it's lots of products going out in one box.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Got it. I guess the final question in relation to Three Fingers is I thought it was so clever when you told me that you were making a product and you started getting into it. I just thought it was the best thing ever. I was like, that's so smart because I've heard lots of people say like, you got to have a product, you got to have a product. And why do you need to have a product? Why did you think this is a good thing to chase after? This is something I'm going to pursue actually. What made it really worthwhile for you?
One, I think just never, so working for a big multinational business for the majority of my working life, and I've always sold products. So worked for a jewelry company for those 25 years. And you'd always sold a product, so I felt comfortable selling a tangible product as opposed to selling yourself on Instagram or something like that. And I just wanted to have a crack at something to see if I could get it to, you got the ABN number, you've got your web page, you've got a product, you had to deal with stickers and like promotional items. You had to source a tin, you had to find a person to mix it all up and then manufacture it for you. So I think it was just a good fit for me that if I had a product, I felt like that was my niche for 25 years, that I had a product that I felt comfortable with and it was mine. Yeah. So I think that's why I had to have a product.
So it was quite natural for you that was the product you ended up with?
I felt it sat well within my family dynamics because I was all about health all about what I put on my skin, all of those things.
Yeah.
So I felt that was sitting well. And if I could get, someone like yourself that could wear a zinc and not get their pores clogged up, then
Thank you for listening to the first part of our interview with Grant. Next week, we'll speak with Grant about his amazing story of overcoming the challenges of disability, what he did with that, go into some epic health tips, and discuss the differences between Steiner and public education. This will be released the coming Monday. Next, if you are one of our regular listeners, or even if you're new here, I'd like to invite you to leave a star rating for us on Spotify or Apple Music, or hit subscribe on YouTube. This genuinely helps us to get discovered by new listeners, and would be epic if you could take the time to help us out. Thirdly, Between Views is opening its Patreon community. If you'd like to join the community and receive weekly exclusive updates and ideas, then you can check it out at patreon.com/betweenviews. In other news, Between Views is always looking for collaborators. If you want to join the team, create something together, then please reach out on Instagram. Finally, if you know someone who deserves to be interviewed or just have some feedback, then send us an email at betweenviewsbv@gmail.com or give us a message on Instagram. Thanks again, and see you soon. Between Views.